No contact is not enough? Do this to crush her ego? Old Stoic wisdom? He who is brave is free, Seneca. You've been told that silence is strength, that walking away, cutting her off, will make her feel the sting of your absence. But here's the reality: she saw it coming. She's prepared for no contact. In fact, she's used to it. And if she's already moved on emotionally, your silence becomes just another whisper in the background. No contact might protect your peace, but it doesn't shake her ego. It doesn't reclaim the power you gave away. You were loyal. You showed up. You invested heart, soul, and years into something she walked away from without flinching. And now you're left not just alone, but questioning your own value. But that's not your downfall. That's your awakening. This isn't about revenge. It's not about emotional games. It's about becoming a man whose presence commands respect, even in silence. A man who doesn't chase closure, he becomes it. This is where Stoic fire meets masculine clarity, where we don't just go no contact, we go no weakness, we rebuild, we refocus, we rise. She won't miss your texts. She'll miss the man who evolved beyond her reach. This is how you crush her ego, by becoming the man she no longer qualifies for. Welcome to our channel. If you're done living in the echo of her absence and ready to rebuild a life so powerful she regrets losing access to it, like this video, subscribe, and comment below. I rise from rejection. Now, let's sharpen the mind and rise with purpose. 1. Burn the illusion. Don't lie to yourself. You're not heartbroken over her. You're mourning the fantasy you built in your mind like a temple on shaky ground. That version of her who seemed perfect, who spoke like she knew your soul, who looked into your eyes and promised forever. She never truly existed. That was your creation, a product of your loyalty, your longing, your need to believe in something solid in a world that often isn't. You didn't fall for her. You fell for the story about her. And that story, brother, was fiction wrapped in hope. She didn't stay. She didn't fight for you. Maybe she ghosted you. Maybe she strung you along with sweet lies and empty eyes. Maybe she left you bleeding while she danced into another man's arms. That's not love. That's not connection. That's ego. Hers. And worse. It became yours too when you kept replaying her words like sacred scripture. But here's where the old Stoic wisdom hits like a hammer: you must burn the pedestal. Every time you scroll through old messages, reread her I miss yous. Every time you imagine what could have been, you're feeding a ghost. You're inflating her image beyond what she earned. You're building her ego while crumbling your own. You must not do this. Stop elevating someone who devalued you. She wasn't rare. She wasn't divine. She wasn't the one that got away. She's the one who taught you the price of seeing with your heart when your eyes should have been open. And this is the blow that truly crushes her ego when you stop idealizing her. Stop craving her validation. Stop acting like she was some once-in-a-lifetime miracle. That's when her illusion dies. That's when you reclaim your power. The iron mind doesn't bend to memory. The man who walks the Stoic path doesn't chase ghosts. He sees clearly. He sees facts, not fantasies. He sees that what hurt wasn't the loss. It was the false attachment, the illusion that something fragile could be forever. And when he burns that illusion, he's not being cruel. He's being free. That Stoic principle in motion, not running from pain, but facing it like a soldier, then walking through it like a king. The truth is, she didn't break your heart. No, she cracked open the places where you had no standards, no spine, no boundaries. She revealed where you betrayed yourself. So stop loving her potential. That's a dangerous drug. Stop romanticizing her chaos like it was passion. That was disorder, not devotion. Be the man who respects himself more than his memories. Be the man who honors what's real, not what was imagined. Don't just go no contact. Go no illusion. Erase the idol. Tear down the false shrine in your mind. Look at her without filters, without longing, without mercy. See her flaws, her cowardice, her manipulations, the red flags you painted white because you wanted the fairy tale. That was never love. That was a lesson in disguise. And now you're wiser, sharper, stronger, not bitter, boundaried. In the ashes of your illusion lies a truth only the old Stoic wisdom can whisper. Sometimes the one you loved most is the one who taught you to finally love yourself better. So burn the illusion, build the iron mind, and walk forward, not with regret, but with fire in your chest and clarity in your eyes. You didn't lose her, you released yourself. 2. Become unreachable. No contact is just kindergarten. If you want to graduate, listen up. Anyone can vanish. A few taps on the phone, block, delete, mute, and poof, you're technically gone. But that's child's play. It's the default move of a man who's still tangled in her shadow. It's the move of a man who's reacting, not leading. You must go beyond absence. You must become unreachable. Not just unreachable by phone, unreachable in soul, untouchable in spirit, unavailable in energy. That's where the real shift happens. That's where Stoic rules begin to apply, not in the absence of contact, but in the presence of inner strength. Stop leaking emotion. She can smell it. Don't post cryptic quotes. Don't curate Instagram stories with your new look. Don't share that gym selfie just to trigger curiosity. That's not confidence, that's performance, and it's obvious. You're not crushing her ego. You're feeding it. Because if she still senses your need to be seen, you're not gone. You're waiting. And she knows it. And when she knows you care, she still owns the stage. She still holds the remote to your emotions. Don't give her that power. Detach like a Stoic, not like a ghost. This isn't about pretending not to care. This is about not needing to pretend. A Stoic man, a man grounded in practical Stoicism, doesn't check her stories, doesn't text mutual friends for updates, and sure as hell doesn't sit around waiting for signs from the universe. He chooses peace, he chooses power, he chooses progress. He follows the paths of wisdom, ancient, weathered, and proven, not the shaky trail of emotional impulses. He masters detachment not to punish her, but to protect himself. You're not guarding a phone, you're guarding your inner fortress, because that's what she's after. Not your body, not your presence, but your mind, your clarity, your peace. Indifference is the real burn. A woman who's used to attention sees silence as insult, not a quiet insult, a thunderous one. She craves feedback, even if it's fury, even if it's heartbreak, even if it's hatred, because emotion is still connection, and connection keeps her throne intact. But true indifference, that void of emotion, that's a void she can't manipulate. That's a mirror she can't dress up for. That's when the what-if starts screaming in her head. What if he really doesn't care? What if I wasn't special? What if he's actually fine without me? That's when her ego, the very one she built to stand above you, starts to crack. Not because you're attacking it, but because you're no longer available to feed it. And make no mistake, that silence, that uncertainty, that mystery, it becomes magnetic, a storm wrapped in stillness. Be the question mark in her mind. When you become unreachable, emotionally, mentally, energetically, you stop being predictable. You become the unknown. And unknowns are haunting. She can't label you. She can't measure you. She can't control the narrative. That's what breaks her. Not a blocked number, but a blocked pathway to your essence. Listen closely. No contact is not enough. No reaction is not enough. You must rise above all of it. Embrace practical Stoicism. Follow the paths of wisdom. Reclaim your throne not by force, but by fortitude. And remember this. A lion doesn't announce he's walking away. He just walks, with a gaze fixed on the next hunt, not the last noise. Be that lion, be unreachable. That's how you crush the ego, not with anger, not with games, but with stillness, silence, and complete sovereignty. Let her wonder, let her panic, you walk the Stoic rules, and you never look back. 3. Master the void. Don't just sit there, waiting. Don't make the silence your prison. Be the man who masters the void, who doesn't just survive the silence, but conquers it. Most men, when the relationship ends, treat the silence like a dentist's waiting room, uncomfortable, temporary, something to endure until she texts, until she regrets, until she crawls back. That's not strength. That's not stoicism. That's weakness dressed in a cheap suit called patience. Flip the script. You must stop using no contact as a gimmick to manipulate her emotions. That's not the way of the Stoic rules. That's the path of a desperate boy, not a deliberate man. You're not here to survive the void. You're here to own it. You're here to rebuild in it. You're here to become in it. This silence, this emptiness, it's not your punishment. It's your path to power. This is your dojo, your forge, your battlefield. A man following practical stoicism doesn't flee from emptiness. He walks right into it, head up, shoulders squared, eyes cold. Why? Because the void strips everything away. The noise, the distractions, the validations, the lies, and what's left behind is the raw, unfiltered you. That's where the bleeding stops. That's where the rebuilding begins. That's where your evolution is forged. She's out there, swiping, posting, pretending, filling the void with digital affection and temporary highs. Let her. But you're stacking discipline like bricks. You're sharpening your mind. You're turning silence into your gym, your church, your war zone. While she hides from the silence, you're becoming dangerous in it. This is the path of wisdom. Let it be quiet. Let it be dark. Let it be lonely. Because the man who thrives with nothing, no affection, no attention, no applause, is the man who soon attracts everything. And not because he needs it, but because he doesn't. You must stop waiting to be noticed. Stop watching the phone. Stop measuring your worth by her absence. You want to crush her ego. Don't text. Don't post. Don't explain. Let her feel your absence like gravity. Let the silence echo with the void where your weakness used to be. Let her wonder, how did he become this? Let her never find out. Because when you build in silence, the world only sees the final version, but they'll never understand the battles you fought in the quiet. That's mastering the void. That's walking the path of practical stoicism. That's what it means to live by the Stoic rules, to become unshakable, not through control of others, but mastery of yourself. So next time you feel the urge to break the silence just to feel something, don't. Sit with it, own it, grow in it, because in the end, the void isn't your enemy, it's your greatest ally. If you let it be, welcome to the paths of wisdom. Now walk them, in silence, with fire in your chest. If this message hits home, like the video, share it with someone who's in the silence right now, and subscribe for more unshakable wisdom. Comment to remember, I master the void and become unstoppable. Let that be your daily affirmation. A reminder that you're not waiting, you're rebuilding, you're not broken, you're becoming. 4. The mirror effect. Don't explain. Don't justify. Don't plead. Be the mirror. Be the brutal, silent reflection of everything she chose, everything she lost, and everything she underestimated. That's how you crush her ego. Not with words, but with weight. With silence that roars louder than any argument. Most men, when the storm hits, crumble into confession. They draft novels and text messages. They leak pain, hoping she'll mop it up with remorse. They confuse vulnerability with strength. But listen closely, that's not power. That's performance. That's surrender wearing a disguise. That's you putting your heart on the table, and her ego using it as an ashtray. You want to invoke regret. You want to flip the script with cold elegance. Don't chase. Reflect. Don't react. Withdraw. Adopt the iron mind. The old Stoic wisdom says a man must not be shaken by the winds of others' chaos. He must become the stillness that reveals the storm. When you mirror her energy with surgical precision, when you remove your validation, your presence, your attention, you dismantle the foundation her ego stood on. The drama starved. The spotlight gone. All that's left is the echo of her own decisions and your controlled, emotionless absence pressing into her soul like a quiet thunder. This is the mirror effect. You don't fight her narrative. You dissolve it. You don't defend yourself. You become the consequence, not out of revenge, not out of malice, out of sheer, unshakable self-respect. Stoic principles aren't just philosophy. They are armor. The less you say, the more she hears. The less you do, the more she feels. She can't spin it. She can't argue with silence. She can't blame a ghost. And that's when it starts. The unraveling. The confidence cracks. The mask slips. Because deep inside, she expected the old version of you, the one who begged, who explained, who waited. But that version is gone, replaced by a man sharpened by detachment and purpose. A man who changed because of her choices, not for her approval. This is where the beauty lies. You never had to lift a finger. You didn't chase closure. You became it. You didn't speak. You echoed. You didn't punish. You mirrored. That reflection, clean and cruel, is something she cannot control. And that, brother, is what breaks her. That's what pierces through the ego, not your words and not your apologies, but your evolution. You moved in silence. You let old Stoic wisdom carve your path. And now she's left looking at herself through your absence, realizing she played a game she never learned the rules to. Don't be soft. Be steel. Don't explain. Become undeniable. The mirror doesn't blink, and neither should you. Use the iron mind. Walk with Stoic principles. When you do, you don't just walk away, you haunt. 5. Withdraw all validation. Don't flatter her ego. Don't feed the ghost. See, ego doesn't just knock politely at your door. It slithers in through the cracks. A like on your latest photo. A casual "how have you been" at 10:43 p.m. A sudden follow after 3 weeks of silence. She's not reconnecting. She's checking her power. Don't take the bait. She isn't asking, "Do you still love me?" She's asking, "Do I still have control?" Here's where most men fumble. Even after she's gone, they keep the door cracked open, hoping she'll peek in. They post shirtless selfies, hoping she'll accidentally stumble across them. They post quotes about letting go while tagging the gym. They drop vague captions about betrayal, hoping she feels the sting. Stop! Right now! That's not strength. That's ego's leash. Every time you react, even silently, you're feeding her. You're paying with your energy. And attention, my friend, is currency. A wise man counts his coin. A stoic man, even more so. You want to crush her ego? Kill the supply. Withdraw all validation. Not with fury, not with drama, with silence, with indifference, with the cold steel of practical stoicism. Because a man who has learned the paths of wisdom knows silence is sharper than any insult. You don't rage. You don't explain. You don't give closure. That's a gift she no longer qualifies for. She's not your project. She's not your audience. You're not living your life to be watched, especially not by her. Your success, keep it quiet. Let it echo in the halls of your discipline, not in filtered Instagram posts. Your growth. It's not a performance. It's a lifestyle. You don't need to post moved-on quotes or play online chess with someone who already folded. Be a mountain, not a flare. Mountains don't ask for attention. They command it by standing still. And here's the cruel twist. It's not hate that breaks her ego. It's not even heartbreak. It's irrelevance. When she looks and realizes you're not looking back, not even a glance, something breaks. Quietly, deeply, permanently. She's no longer the center of your world. Hell, she's not even on the map anymore. You must give her the one thing the ego cannot stand: nothing. Not coldness, not bitterness, just absence. A vacuum so complete, it makes her wonder if she ever mattered at all. And that's when her ego shatters. Because in the realm of Stoic rules, you don't play emotional games. You master emotional control. You don't react. You don't explain. You simply exit with calm, with clarity, with your soul intact. No final text, no birthday-like, no quiet breadcrumb to say "I'm still here." You're not. You're beyond her orbit. You're walking the paths of wisdom, not loops of regret. Let her wonder. Let her ego starve, because you're building peace, not chasing chaos. Remember this. Every time you respond, explain, or react, you hand her your power. Every time you withdraw, detach, and move forward, you reclaim it. Don't validate the past. Build the future in silence, in strength, in stoic peace. If you found this powerful, share and subscribe for more timeless wisdom. Let go of chasing and reclaim your peace. Your silence is stronger than any response. Comment to remember, starve the ego with silence, not spite, but indifference. 6. Transmute the pain into power. Don't sit in the ashes. Don't replay the betrayal. Don't ask, why me? That's not the question of a man who wins. That's the question of a man who's lost before the battle's even begun. The Stoics knew better. Epictetus didn't flinch in the face of pain. He faced it head-on and turned it into strength. So must you, because the agony you're carrying isn't a curse. It's fuel. It's the raw iron waiting to be smelted in the fire of your will. You have only two paths: let it rot your soul from within, or use it to forge something indestructible. There is no middle ground. There is no pause. There is no pity. There is only action. Transmutation is the way. Stoicism wins. You want to crush her ego. Don't text. Don't chase. Don't explain. Disappear into the storm and come out a man reborn. Not out of revenge, not out of hate, but out of discipline, out of power, out of unshakable clarity. You don't just walk away. You ascend. Make her question the gravity of what she lost. Make her doubt the very idea that she ever knew you. Because the man you become through the fire is colder, sharper, focused, unbothered. The man who no longer loves out of desperation, but out of choice. That man, he's dangerous, not to her, to weakness. He's not chasing closure, he is creating a legacy. The gym becomes your temple, the business becomes your battleground, solitude becomes your edge. You use the silence she left behind to sharpen your blade. You don't drown in pain. You channel it, you lift heavier, think clearer, execute faster. You cut every distraction like dead weight. You don't need to scream success. You radiate it, not to show her, not to impress her, but to master yourself. You are not broken, you are forged. And when she finally looks back, she sees not the man she hurt, but the man her ego cannot touch anymore. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That's the law. That's Stoicism. That's Epictetus. This is not about getting her back. This is about getting yourself back. Better, stronger, wiser, ruthless with your time, loyal only to your purpose. That is what crushes her ego. Not words, not posts, not games, results. The undeniable transformation of a man who chose pain as a tool, not a cage. So let her wonder. Let her regret. Let her hear your silence echo louder than any apology. Because you're not the same man. You didn't just move on. You leveled up. You're now a force of nature. Calm, disciplined, powerful. You walk with intention. You speak with precision. You lead with strength. You are no longer within reach. Not because you're hiding, but because you've risen beyond her level. That's what true men do. They don't let pain define them. They define themselves through the pain. Epictetus taught that no man is free unless he masters himself. And now, so do you. Let this be your code. Let this be your standard. Let this be your edge. Transmute the pain. Build the life. Stoicism wins. Always. 7. Become the man she can't replace. Here's the cold steel truth. Most women don't feel the loss immediately. She walks away wearing confidence like a borrowed coat, convinced there's better out there, thinking you're just another chapter easily skimmed and forgotten. She tells herself she'll find someone more, someone better, someone who'll fill the space faster than you'll ever heal. And that, my friend, is exactly where the game flips. Not with desperate texts, not with passive-aggressive Instagram stories, not with sad boy playlists and wine-fueled regret. No, you make your move with silence, with transformation. You let old Stoic wisdom guide you. You choose to become so grounded, so focused, so unbothered, that your very presence becomes a standard no one else can match. Don't chase her, don't explain. Don't try to win her back. That's noise. And noise is weakness. Be still, be sharp, be dangerous in your calm. This isn't about revenge, that's petty. This is rebirth. You want to crush her ego. Don't talk, evolve. You must become the man who doesn't need validation, because he's locked into his purpose, like an arrow drawn back by fate. You must embody strength without the need to show it. That's Stoic principles in motion. Quiet, calm, calculating. You must be the man whose peace is unshakable, whose mind is made of iron, whose discipline speaks louder than drama ever could. Understand this, she expects you to chase, to flail, to collapse, to become one of the many weak men she's seen before. Don't be the rare breed who disappears into his grind, his growth, his greatness. Be the man she checks on secretly, the one she hears about in conversations that weren't meant for her. While she's cycling through the same hollow energies wrapped in new packaging, you are evolving into something timeless, irreplaceable. She won't be able to explain it, but she'll feel it. That uneasy realization that what she lost wasn't just a boyfriend, but a fortress of presence, the embodiment of an iron mind she'll never experience again. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about finally stepping into who you were always meant to be. Before the distractions, before the noise, before her, she was just the storm that forced the ship to sail. Now let the winds push you into greatness, because when she scrolls and sees you, thriving, unbothered, magnetic, it hits her like truth on a cold morning she didn't leave a man. She lost an empire, and you don't gloat. You don't post thirst traps or mysterious captions. That's boy energy. You move, you build. You live so fully, so freely, that your absence echoes louder than your presence ever did. That's what it means to crush her ego without a word spoken. That's how old Stoic wisdom works silently, powerfully, permanently. Be the lesson, not the longing. Be the man she can't replace, not because you tried to be, but because you became. And if you find today's content very interesting, please give me a word of encouragement by commenting "very interesting" in the comments section. That is a huge motivation for us. Thank you. 8. Build a new identity in shadow. You don't evolve in the spotlight. That's the first lie they feed you, that healing must be loud, that your progress needs applause, that your rebirth must be seen to be real. Don't buy it. Don't chase validation. You build in silence. You sharpen your edges in the dark, like a blade tempered by fire, not filtered by Instagram stories. Transformation doesn't ask for likes. It demands solitude and pain and discipline. You want to crush her ego? Don't post, don't hint, don't broadcast. Disappear and rebuild. Not to spite her, but to surpass her. See, this is where most men collapse. They confuse motion with meaning. They think posting gym selfies or sharing Stoic quotes is progress. It's not. It's just noise. It's performance. And performance is weakness. You're still playing for an audience, and she's the only one in the front row. Stop. Step off the stage. That isn't strength. That's a cry for attention. You want to hurt her pride, then become the man she can't recognize, the one she never deserved, and do it without saying a word. Because a man following the paths of wisdom knows silence is louder than noise. You don't need her to see your glow up. You need to shine so differently, so fiercely, that the next time your name slips into conversation, she pauses, she wonders, and deep down, she aches. Not for you, but for the ghost of you, the man she thought she knew. That's practical stoicism. That's real power. A Stoic doesn't evolve for revenge. He evolves for rebirth. He doesn't update. He upgrades. Quietly, ruthlessly, alone. Be that man. Cut the noise. Kill the distractions. Turn down the world and tune into yourself. Refine your sleep. Train your body. Lock into your vision. Demand more from your time, your habits, your thoughts. This is the Stoic rule most ignore. Your greatest evolution must be unannounced. That way, no one sees it coming, especially her. And when the whispers begin, when mutual friends mention your name with a strange kind of respect, when your silence echoes louder than your words ever could, that's when she feels it. The shift, the loss, the disconnection from the man she thought would always orbit her world. But you're not circling anymore. You're launching. Because this isn't about her. It never was. This is about you, your identity, your mission, your higher self. You're not performing, you're becoming, and becoming is sacred work, done in the shadows, not the spotlight. She's not meant to witness your resurrection. She had her chapter. You turned the page. Now you walk forward, cloaked in silence, rooted in strength, and guided by the paths of wisdom that built better men long before you. Let her ego starve. Let your silence speak. And become the man who no longer needs to be seen, because he's already become unforgettable. 9. Let her watch from afar. Not in bitterness, not in drama, but in cold, calculated silence. You don't need to block her. You don't need to run. Let her watch. Let her see. Let her feel the space between what you once were and what you've now become. That distance, that quiet, unbridgeable gap, is your power. It's not cruelty, it's clarity. You've evolved. You've rebuilt your foundation. You've burned the weak framework and risen stronger. Stoic, unshaken. And now she's locked out. Not by your anger, but by your absence. As Epictetus taught, we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them. You've stopped judging. You've stopped reacting. You simply are unavailable, unbothered, untouchable. When you were close, she mistook your loyalty for dependence. She thought you'd always orbit her gravity. But you've gone still. You've gone cold. You've gone sovereign. And now she watches the life she left behind, the man she assumed would stay beneath her, build, rise, master his fate. You must let her feel that. Don't message her. Don't post for her. Don't dance for attention. Post your purpose. Share your victories. Speak through progress. Lead with silence. You are not showing off. You are showing up. You are not chasing closure. You are choosing conquest. This is Stoicism. Win in action calm. Composed domination. Your mission is no longer reaction. It's revolution. You live for the grind, the growth, the goal, not her ghost. And yes, she'll see it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but the moment will come when she scrolls past your quiet power, no selfies, no showboating, just the undeniable evidence of a man on fire, not for revenge, but for results. That's where her ego begins to bleed, not because you pushed her away, but because you never looked back. Understand this, people crave what they can no longer control. The moment you became unreachable, you became unforgettable. The moment you walked away without rage, you became her regret. Let her ego crumble as you build empires. Let her wonder as you execute. Let her scroll in silence while you sculpt legacy. This is your edge. This is your triumph. You win with your back turned. You win by mastering yourself. You win by moving forward with stoic resolve, because as Epictetus also said, the greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. And this is your glory mastering detachment, embracing discipline and choosing self-respect over sentiment. That's how stoicismwin feels. Not loud, not wild, but steady, sharp, unshakable. Don't break. Don't fold. Don't explain. Let her watch. Let her wait. Let her ego unravel while you remain focused, fierce and free. That is your final act. That is your revenge, not in words, not in war, but in walking your path like a storm no one can stop. You are not trying to crush her. You are crushing weakness in yourself, and that is how you win. If you've made it this far, you already understand. True power is found in silence, in presence, in becoming untouchable. You don't need to prove anything. You are the proof. Comment this below to affirm your evolution. She watches, but she no longer has access. Let it be known. You've stepped beyond the past. Now you lead. 10. Forgive for power, not peace. Don't forgive to be noble. Forgive to be free. There's a sharp difference. This isn't a bedtime story about peace and butterflies. This is a power move rooted in Old Stoic wisdom. Forgiveness, when done right, is a lethal dose of detachment, the kind that doesn't beg for closure, doesn't replay the betrayal, and doesn't need an apology to heal. It's not about letting her off the hook. It's about unhooking yourself from the chaos. When you forgive not to mend, but to cut ties with pain, you deliver the blow her ego never saw coming. Why? Because she expected bitterness. She expected you to stew in it, to stalk her stories, to rehearse fake confrontations in the mirror. But you forgave, then vanished. No fanfare, no farewell speech. That's a man with an iron mind. That's Stoic principles in action. You didn't ghost her to get attention. You went silent because your evolution doesn't need witnesses. You don't forgive her to make her feel better. You forgive so you don't have to carry the emotional debt she left behind. Anger drains you. Obsession chains you. That cycle of replaying every moment, hoping for justice. That's her ego keeping you captive. And if you stay chained to the grudge, you're still dancing to her tune. A Stoic man knows no one gets to live in his mind, rent-free. You must be ruthless with your peace. You must evict anything that pulls you backwards. Don't send that text. Don't post that quote. Don't hint you've moved on. You don't need to say a thing. The silence will speak. The grace will sting. And the absence, that's what haunts her. Because when she looks back and sees no bitterness, only distance, she'll finally realize she lost a man she can never reach again. And let's be clear, this isn't about pretending. It's not about faking strength. It's about becoming so grounded in your own growth that her chaos can't touch you. She threw emotional fire, and you walked through it untouched, not because it didn't burn, but because you chose to rise anyway. That's the mark of an iron mind. That's old Stoic wisdom playing out in real time. You don't post about healing, you embody it. You don't need her to see it. You just need you to see what you've become. You thought no contact was the finish line. Think again. That was the warm-up. The real flex is indifference. The real move is not giving her a front row seat to your rebirth. She doesn't get that privilege. Because this wasn't just about losing her. It was about rediscovering you. Don't seek revenge. Don't chase validation. Be the man who learned, burned, and built better. While she scrolls, you build. While she wonders, you evolve. While she replays the past, you design your future. This isn't a game of who's happier. It's not about who moved on faster. This is chess. And in this game, emotion is a distraction, not a strategy. Let her think you're cold. Let her believe you don't care. Because what really crushes her ego is knowing you truly don't. Not out of spite, but because you're already miles beyond the need for her presence. Be the man who forgives not because he's soft, but because he's unshakable. That's what Stoic principles demand. That's what men with an iron mind choose. You're not bitter. You're better. You didn't lose her. You released her. And that quiet, unapologetic release, that's what breaks her, because she wanted to be unforgettable. But you, my friend, made her forgettable. So don't look back. Don't entertain the what-ifs. Be so rooted in your evolution that nothing from the past even tempts you. Remember who the hell you are when the drama fades. That is the path. That is the standard. That is old Stoic wisdom in motion. All right, my friend, thank you for watching. Listen, I'm not here to sugarcoat things. The truth is simple. No contact alone isn't enough. You've got to build something bigger within. This is your era, one forged in silence, sharpened by focus, and carried by the kind of self-respect that doesn't beg to be seen. So here's my advice to you. Don't just disappear, evolve. Let your absence speak, but let your growth roar louder. Actions, discipline, self-worth. That's how you crush an ego, not with anger, but with elevation. If this message hit home for you, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on those notifications and drop a comment below. I rise with silence and power. And never forget, she didn't lose you when she walked away. She lost you when you never looked back. Stay focused, stay rising. I'll see you in the next one.